we're back on the Morning Brew, and we got our friends in from TEDx, and you guys are all at the TEDx Women's event coming up, which is pretty awesome. This is Kathy, Jessica, and Bianca, and what I love about this is an international TED event.
It is.
So, real quickly, we got to explain what TED is. I think a lot of people, for those that don't know, TED is it's a speaker series, basically, right?
Yeah, the focus of TED internationally is technology, education, and design. And
That's what I'm saying.
The model, as you know, is really different. So that people are really familiar with TED Talks. And so
Right.
it's about finding big ideas and bringing them together in the TED format. And so the women's event is really focused on big ideas around women in New Mexico.
Very cool. And the TED format is basically one person kind of thrown on stage with a couple of pictures behind them and that great little TED mic, the little Madonna mic everybody wears. And Bianca, you're going to be the speaker, one of the speakers at the next event. Did they have to give you like a little primer on how to wear that little TED mic?
We actually, our dress rehearsal is next week, so I don't know what's up.
So you get to learn how to use the TED mic.
Yes, I know where to stand.
That's cool.
Yeah.
On the top.
Right. So this event is a TED Women event.
Correct.
And Bianca, how did you come to this as one of the speakers this year?
Well, I like the TEDx page on Facebook, and I saw that they were accepting submissions for the TEDx Women's event, and I submitted something, and I got selected.
Very cool. And how many women are there speaking?
There are 13.
Oh, wow, that's a
actually, there
packed
are
house.
13 speakers, 12 women, 1 man, and we did have a very competitive application process. So
I think all of the salons, right? I mean, how many speaker requests do you guys get every year?
I think we got around 70 for the women's event alone.
Wow, that's huge. I love that. And then, of course, the big event's in September.
Yes.
But these salons are one of what? There's 8 a year?
Well, there's between 6 and 8 salons, and this is actually considered more of an event because what's happening is on a global scale, on the 28th of May, this next Thursday, there'll be hundreds of women's events happening all over the globe. And so ours will be simulcast along with all of the others. And so that's unique about this event and makes it a little different than the salons and the big event.
Yeah, so that means I can there's going to be 13 people at all these events across the world too?
Well, they're all different. The big event is, the main national event is being held in California in Monterey, and that's actually a 3-day event.
Oh, wow.
And they have speakers like Billie Jean King and former President Carter, Lily Tomlin, some really exciting speakers. But we'll have our own, local talent. We have speakers
like
from
Bianca,
for one, Taos, Santa Fe, and then the Albuquerque area.
Very cool. So what are you going to be talking about?
I'll be talking about consent, and I'm referring to sexual consent.
And that's become a thing. We were talking a little bit ago about that, and how
Right.
it's at universities. It's become a big deal now, and basically educating people that you want an affirmative yes before you go ahead with anything, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'll be talking about, that consent is necessary in any physical or sexual relationship, interaction, situation.
So how do you bring that to the TED Talk format and bring that into something that can be like entertaining TED Talk for what? It's got to be between 3 and 6 minutes. Am I right?
Yeah, our talks will be between 6 and 8 minutes.
6 and 8 minutes. Yeah.
Just making it conversational. Believe it or not, consent is a fun conversation.
Right. Who doesn't like to hear a good yes?
Yes, right. Thank you. So I'll be doing that, making it conversational and authentic.
Very cool. Did you always want to be a TED speaker? Is this a thing like you'd watch the show, you'd seen the clips online, you'd heard the TED Radio Hour? Is this something you were like, I want to do that someday?
Absolutely, but I didn't think it would happen like this quickly or this soon. I mean, I thought I would be much older, but I mean, now with
Thought that wasn't wasting their time. I'm pretty.
an opportunity to do it. So.
Very cool. So what are some of the other topics people are talking about at the event?
There are topics focused on art. There's topics focused on healthcare and technology. I think that's the greatest thing about the TED event is it's so there's so many diverse backgrounds and topics that are brought to it.
Very cool. And you said there's 12 women and 1 man.
Yes.
So it's just not all women on stage for the women's event.
Right.
But is it women's focus or how? I mean, what makes it different from another event that might have women speakers at it?
Well, the topics are really focused. The theme this year is momentum.
Okay.
And so the topics are focused on how to accelerate issues that are important to women, how to focus on them. So the topics would be interesting to women and focused on their role in our society, their role in creating change. And as Jessica said, we really have a diverse group of speakers. And so we had a couple of male applicants, and it just fit with the whole
The
theme
whole
of what we're
idea
trying to do.
of momentum, absolutely. Well, it seems like this could be the year of certainly women in politics. It's huge, you know, with Hillary, Carly Fiorina. There's a bunch of great things on that front. I mean, are there political speakers too? I'm kind of a political junkie. Is there political speakers and all of that,
Not
or?
at this particular event, but there are a lot of TED Talks that do focus on politics, women in politics.
Very cool.
But some of the issues, you know, people might find a little edgy, so we don't want to tell you too much about each speaker. But I do think they may not be campaign oriented, but some of the topics that are LBGT community issues within our community that people are facing every day. I think consent is one that are important issues to women that may be a little political.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been to several of the salons, and they're this fun format. And there's something about TED Talk that they're funny. Like, people don't expect, like, you talk about these really heady things. And I went to one about computer hacking, and I was expecting it to be this deep dive into, like, computer security or something. And instead, Steve's, like, cracking jokes the whole time. How do you make these intense, and is that part of the training, too?
It is.
All of this is to, like, find the punchlines and what you're talking about?
Do you want to talk? Well, we have one of the things, and we have, as you know, TED is all volunteers. And so we have, for this project or for this event, we have 4 coaches that work with our speakers. And so Bianca's really had the chance
Who's your
to.
coach?
TK and Gregory, they're not here, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they've been fabulous.
Great.
So there is this process that the speakers participate in, and it's a big commitment on their part, but they receive coaching and typically about 4 or 5 sessions to really help them transition and move their talk into the real TED way.
Yeah, which
so
is
it's pretty exciting to watch. I've been able to watch some of that transformation.
That's cool. And I've always wondered, do you have cue cards? Because I've watched the TED Talks online, and it seems like it's like 6-8 minutes off the cuff is what it feels like.
No cue cards.
No, it's all a monologue.
You have to internalize it, yeah. And you rarely do. I have it all up here. I hope I don't forget it, but it's all there.
You probably won't.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the scary part.
Well, it's memorizing 6 minutes of something, and but keeping it fun, right?
Right,
And then you have
exactly.
PowerPoint and the whole 9 yards with pictures and everything
Some
behind
people
you
have
too.
slides. I don't have slides, but some people do have some slides.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. So what's that coaching like? I mean, is it intense? Is it like one of these things where they just like put you on stage, put a spotlight on you and say go, or is it more of a slower kind of process?
It's very informal. It feels like a reality TV show, but a fun one. No drama.
Okay.
You just give it a try, and then they just give you feedback and tell you what you need to work on.
That sounds very cool. So what are the next big events coming up? We know, of course, the big one's in September.
Correct.
And that's going to be at Popejoy.
Yes.
And get your tickets now, because every year I try to get tickets for that thing, and it's always sold out. And I used to have to call Tim, who was the former license holder for the local thing. I'm like, Tim, can you get me a ticket?
So the tickets for the big event aren't on sale yet. We don't put those on sale probably about 6 or 8 weeks before. But the tickets for the women's event are still on sale. And we have some fabulous sponsors, Bank of Albuquerque, Presbyterian, the City of Albuquerque, Fidelity, some of our sponsors. If you go to our webpage, TEDxABQ.com, you'll see our tickets and all our sponsors.
There it is.
And get your tickets, because this event typically sells out. So we're about 8 days until
Next Thursday.
So 7 days to the event, and we'd love everyone to be there. We're also going to host some fabulous local entertainment. So that's all about women as well. And so we
When you
really
say
encourage.
entertainment, bands or musicians or...
Yes, and you'll have to come and see. Yeah.
It's always frustrating when you tell somebody.
So it'll be a great audience experience.
That'll
In
be fun.
addition, the speakers and then the entertainment. And we're actually at the convention center in the new space.
Which should be fun, because the museum is where I've been to some of the other events, and it gets packed in there. It's a smallish room, and it's fun to be there actually and be in this room where everybody is just packed in. The convention, you have a little more elbow room, I'm guessing.
We'll have a little more elbow room, but we're expecting, as I said, this event. The last time it was held was in December of 2013, and it was a sellout, and so we moved it to a larger venue, and we can accommodate 600 individuals. We were about halfway to our ticket sales goal. So.
That's pretty good. Well, great. Well, we're going to be back in a couple of seconds with our friends from Tractor Brew. Did you guys see the skateboards out there?
They are
in the green room? Aren't
fantastic.
they amazing?
They are
yeah.
amazing.
We're going to talk to some of the artists and some of what they're doing at Tractor with all these skateboards. Thanks for coming in, guys. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
Thursday, TEDxABQ.com, and we'll be back in a couple of seconds on the Morning Brew.
Great.